galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is a road. Chinese and lucky like we. Rand and North Korea wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Studio Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Democracy in Spice Isles is alive and well. Ask you questions, sing and beat you drum. Make you suggestions, encourage them on to walk the straight and narrow in the land. Politics, religion and economic issue, regional, international, spiritual issues too. Agricultural, environmental and trending to subject matter. We fear none, we back down. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the land. God, we freedom, jealous and they in Cuba. Russians and Chinese and lucky like we. Rhine and North Korea wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Galaxy equalizer, ready like Freddy. And Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. We freedom of speech is sacrosanct. Make use of it, let no one challenge. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is a road.
Welcome again. Welcome back to the program Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. And this time the issue is pure politics. And the question we're asking simply, new hospital what? New hospital what? We believe that the question should be asked 2 years ago. This government came into power hot and sweaty, and they claim they're going to build a new hospital. Well, in fact, it was not an original idea. The NDC said that, I think, in 2008 or somewhere. And we're asking the question, new hospital what? What you want from a hospital? You want patient safety. You want quality care. You want a positive patient experience. You want the efficient use of resources. Now, why is it the government wants to build a new hospital? We have a funny belief, we have a strong belief that this government believed they could make money personally from an undertaking of that nature. They would have to spend over $500 million. And by that time, their sticky hands will help to fill the pockets. We don't believe they're genuine. And we will be placed in a worse position. The number to call is 536-2558. 536-2558. And you with the Galaxy Equalizers today. We always invite you to question us, to ask questions, to make suggestions, because our objective is to provoke discussion. When you have an undertaking of that magnitude, over 500 million, it must concern you if it is an efficient use of resources. All and sundry should be concerned. Grenada is a poor country. Sometimes we just forget that. And if we squander resources, we are squandering the future of our children. Not us. Many of us waiting in the departure lounge, in a comfortable position. We sit on a rocking chair and we're waiting in the departure lounge. You have a number of people advancing age in Grenada, and I like to say they're going in funeral and waiting to die. They has become unproductive. They are absorbing back the income they make when they were productive. This is not good for our country. People must always try to be productive. Even when you retire, mentally you must turn a new retread tire and continue to be productive. The mango you suck, you didn't plant the tree. The food that you eat when you was a kid, you didn't provide it. The vehicle that you drive in, you was a passenger in, you didn't own it. So all of us must prepare, must be prepared to fix the pitch for those who come after to bat. What this government is doing in Grenada, they're not fixing the pitch. They're contaminating the pitch. They're burying the younger ones in debt. Even the unborn will carry that burden. There is absolutely no need for a new hospital in Grenada. I know the politicians don't want to see that. They're playing safe ground. Well, you see, my type of politics is not looking for any constituency. There is no need for a new hospital. The hospital in St. George's Hospital, is in a good location. Even the location is therapeutic. You could go and ask any psychologist. overlooking the sea, the breeze, the sea breeze, moving from sea to sea is easier to demolish and destroy bacteria and germs where the hospital is situated. In this modern day, we have a lot of transport. Transportation is not a problem. Road is not a problem. Access is not a problem. And the Prime Minister riding down in helicopter now. There is no need for a new hospital. Princess Alice Hospital in Maribor, almost in the center of the country, in the biggest parish, have enough space for expansion. You don't have to close down the activities to expand the hospital. I think it was built somewhere in 1950. You have two facilities that can improve significantly in the other extreme of the island. So there is no need for a new structure. What the government is building is a new structure. And then they have to retrofit the structure to make a hospital. I've never heard any health personnel complain about the capacity, about the structure, about there is not enough room in the hospital. I heard there is not enough beds. There is not enough reagents. There is not enough drugs. There is not enough X-ray machine. There is not enough support system for the technical people. There is not enough technical people. But I never heard any complaint about the building, the capacity, the structure, the hurricane pass. And it has not seriously destroyed the hospital. So building a new structure is definitely not an efficient use of this country's resources. There is absolutely no need for a new hospital. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yes, my brother.
And how are you doing today?
Great, man. Good.
All right. Now, as you talk about hospital, let me give an idea. Because it is believed we don't have proper access to the hospital and maybe exit. But let me give them an idea. It might be a silly idea. But as I look at the location of the present hospital, there is a lot of room going into the end of the peninsula. A lot of lands going back there. So if we want a new hospital, we could expand the present hospital right out to the end, to the tip of the peninsula. What we do? We create an exit. So you build two roads on either side of the hospital, right out to the peninsula, and you have what you call an elevator drop to drop your vehicles on the middle. If you have the ring road, so that you use an elevator drop of these exit vehicles on the main road below to go west or to go east. I'm giving them that idea because you could have what you call the entrance presently and the exit where you cannot have a road to drive because of the slope. So you have an elevator. At the end of that road, at either end of the hospital, you have an elevator drop. And so you drop from the hospital, from the exit of that road, down to the road at the bottom. Yeah?
Yes, my friend.
So I'm giving them that idea. If they think, well, okay, how do we do that? Yes, you have a ring road along the hospital, and you have two exits on either end of the hospital. That could take trucks, small trucks. It could take the ambulance and cars. So you drive right onto the elevator, and they drop it down on the road at the bottom, and you exit. And either end, you go back to Carnage or you go west. So I'm giving them this idea free. Maybe I might copyright it, so they have to give me some monies. but are giving them free for now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
It saddens my heart that in an era when we have so much of individuals who are involved in private health care, who have excelled in higher learning, is staying silent while a political neophyte comes in and decide to take on a project of over 500 million that is not necessary. That is squandering the resources of the country and mine the future of the unborn. That is a gross, inefficient use of our resources. It is not necessary. And I am of the full suspicion that the only reason that project is undertaken is because of the financial benefit for the Prime Minister and his gang. It saddens. Why? Why Grenadians in a democratic country would let a group that refuse to give them information? They say information is based upon need to know. So they believe they are the custodians of what is right and what is wrong, and no one must question them. Even their favorite journalists get lockjaw. And this government is going to bury this country in debt and spend over 500 million to build a new structure in an area that is more prone to flooding, in an area that is better suited for agriculture purpose, not even in the center of the island. And by the time they finish with that structure, it will be a millstone around our neck. And the door seems to have the potential to retrofit it to provide the quality that will be respected. We are a small Caribbean country. We have close working relationship with the OECS in terms of buying drugs. These things should be increased. There are some major medical health challenges that no island in the Caribbean would be able to deal with all of them. So there are certain things you might have to go to St. Vincent for. St. Vincent might be better in, and Dominica might be better in, and Trinidad might be better in, and Grenada might be better in. Let us work together and develop that. There are some operations in the Caribbean, you have to go to Colombia and Venezuela. If you want a brain transplant, well, you know. Because the person who's doing it, even they could do it, would have no experience. Why is it in a democratic country an individual could come and rip off this country like that? That is killing hope. It is making you believe that all the efforts of those in the past have gone to waste. All the sacrifices that people have made to develop this country have come to naught. Today in Grenada, what we need in the hospital is patient safety. We need the quality of care to improve. Patient must have a positive experience, increased communication, and an efficient use of the resources of the hospital. If we have too much traffic in St. George's Hospital. Then what you do, you develop Princess Alice Hospital more, and St. Patrick's and St. John. And that would reduce significantly the routine work, the care that is not major from St. George's. And you can improve more export in St. George's so major medical treatment could be offered. You don't need more space. Where Duncan Ward is in the hospital, you could put a massive structure there. And it does not prevent activities in the hospital. If the question is on road, you have the ring road idea. So it seems the only reason why the Prime Minister is engaging in this subject matter, because he must get some deal outside. I constantly ask, who is the third party dictating our foreign policy? And every day that run, I am more and more convinced that we get tricked. Grenadians sit down and watch Eric Geary pass, Mr. Blaze, Maurice Bishop, Braffett, Breezan, Keith Mitchell, Ben Jones, Tillman Thomas, Ben Jones, Keith Mitchell. And we could watch all these leaders and even the excesses that we attribute to them. We could genuinely believe that they wanted to make Grenada good. They wanted to make Grenada better. I have never called Maurice Bishop corrupt. I call him a criminal. Because these left-wing countries, they believe that their words stand, and all who don't believe in communism must be in jail or dead. But I don't think it was really about personal gain. But Dick Mitchell, it is strictly about personal gain. He says that he paid for good relationship. We heard rumors that he accept expensive gifts from companies. And later on we heard that he gave concession to the companies at the discomfort of the people who had to obtain goods even on Christmas Day. Everything this gentleman do seems to be for personal gain. But I always said NDC is about 3,000 people. You know. Sometimes people take tasks on me. NDC is not a big group. But over the years, they have mastered the art in opposition. And they're able to lure people around them. And one of the things they use is money. They have been very fortunate in the last 2 years that they met over 500 million in the treasury. 100 million from Saudi Arabia. 100 million plus from the insurance that covered the burial. And they got $1 billion from selling passport. And I'm certain they get a little thing from here and there. And they squandering the public purse. Well, somebody have to pay for it. Somebody has to pay for it. But in the process of squandering the public purse, they screw in the future. Even the children unborn would look back in history and say, what kind of people Grenada had? what kind of men and women in Grenada to accept these things without questioning it. This corruption is massive. If the government want to improve patient safety, the quality of care, and a positive patient experience, and more efficient use of the resources of the government, bringing doctors and nurses and technical people in St. Patrick's and St. John 24/7. Immediately, you would see less congestion in the hospital. Less vehicles, less traffic. Somebody that get a little wound would not go to St. John's Hospital, because they would have doctors, general practitioners. They would have dentists, psychologists in the outer parish. Princess Alice Hospital would also have less congestion. And you could make Princess Alice Hospital have more major health service. You don't have to spend 500 million to do that. And this 500 million I'm talking about is for the building, you know. Then you have to retrofit it. Now, why we are destroying us? This is not the Europeans that are doing that, you know. This is not colonialism and neo-colonialism, you know. You hear all the big czars in Grenada asking for Britain to pay money for slavery. They stay silent while watching a government come in, refuse to provide information for the people. Even if what you're doing is correct, the people is concerned, they have a right to get answers. You refuse to provide information, and you squander the future of our people. You have the farmers' representative in the Senate. They can't get answers. You have the labor representative in the Senate. They can't get answers. You have the businessman representative in the upper house. They can't get answers. You have the opposition in the lower house. They can't get answers. You have the doctor of journalism and the photogenic one that the Prime Minister of Grenada favors. They too can get answers. It doesn't even seem the cyclists could get answers. The trade union will be the first major group to be on your knees balling. We have had three structural adjustment programs. And in each instance, particularly in the first two, the union suffered badly. You lost workers as a result of structural adjustment program. We had the debt service levy implemented. The government had to cut social program and cut down on work on infrastructure. We had higher unemployment and more social decadence. Now we're going to we will be heading down the ground for another structural adjustment program. Mm-hmm. By the time that reach, it might be a foregone conclusion that government would have no more assets to sell. Remember, In 2008-2013, government sold 13 pieces of property. The government was so desperate that they sold assets that did not belong to them. If any individual do that, they go in jail. The government sold shares that legally they had no authority to sell. They still sell it. If it was an individual that do that, it is a crime. The government was collecting money for NIS and they're not paying NIS. They brought the economy in free fall. And when the government changed, they had to race to Trinidad to beg for money to meet current expenditure and right in the jaws of the International Monetary Fund. You see the evidence here that the government is abandoning the legislation that was put in place for economic discipline. The writing is on the wall. No Grenadians cannot say they didn't see, they didn't know, they didn't hear. The government is abandoning the legislation put in place for economic discipline. The government is flaunting the law with impunity and using money that they are not entitled legally to use. The government, senior members of the government, are agents in the CBI program, making it impossible for effective check and balance. Simply because they expect a windfall from that program. The government is traveling, the regularity at which they travel is scandalous. But let us put it in economic sense. The information that we're getting outside there, in 2 years, the Prime Minister shook up a bill of $8 million for traveling. Compare that with Barbados. In 7 years, mere monthly traveling bill was $1.7 million. If the Prime Minister continue on that trend, and it seems that he has increased his traveling, by the time the Prime Minister term reach, 20 million would be spent on travel. The Prime Minister of Grenada is not the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Prime Minister of Grenada is not the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And in almost all countries, the minister that travels with more regularity is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Now, why doesn't the Prime Minister give Dick Mitchell Foreign Affairs if he is traveling, if he felt it was necessary for him to travel like that? I ask the question, who is the third party that have the Prime Minister brain in hand? This Prime Minister is like a rara. Somebody is manipulating him. And it is in Grenada's interest to know why. Is it true? Why? What is in it for the person to gain?